mentors, coaches whose lessons have stuck with you. Sometimes you learn from other people's mistakes, but who sticks with you? And do you have any active mentors? Because I think, for a lot of people, it's good to stay relevant and stay connected with somebody who can offer advice. So Todd.
Yeah, I think definitely that's you're always looking to learn as a coach. Certainly, I'm excited to come to an event like this so that I can learn. I've already picked up quite a few things that'll help me be a better coach, and I think that that's a huge part of understanding that every day as a coach you come to the rink with the fact that you're going to improve, you're going to get better, and that's something you talk to your players all the time about improving and getting better, but us as coaches need to improve too and be able to move in that direction. But certainly for me to continue to, coaches that I've coached with, I was an assistant under, whether you're talking about Dan Bilesma or you're talking about, Barry Trotz, with two very, very different leaders, but both guys that have won Stanley Cups, and I've been able to watch that transpire. Been very fortunate in that regard. And then I go back to coaches that I played for. So lucky to play for Joel Quenneville. So lucky to play for Todd McClellan and bounce ideas off of coaches like that and a number of other ones that are in this room. So those were huge steps for me, and I lean on them for guidance and mentorship still, and try to do the same thing for young coaches that are now falling under my wings. So it's a great responsibility, and to me that's the part of the next phase of being a leader. But I think if you don't go into things learning and expecting to try to improve every day, then you're really cheating your own development.
Thank you, Todd. Butch, what about you? Killer Kilray obviously led your team to a Memorial Cup. Who else along the way?
Well, I think Darryl's here today. I think most players, if they have a good year, they like the coach. If they don't have a good year, the coach sucks. That's kind of the way it works. And for me, it's when you win a championship, you look back on what the coach did, the players. Killer was one. We won in Ottawa. Darryl in Indianapolis in the old IHL. I always look, Darryl was hard. He taught me I was more of a handsy skill player. He taught me the benefits of the defensive side of the game, managing the puck. And, you're halfway through the year, you're that type of player, and he's on you. Like, you're thinking about, is this worth it? And then at the end, when you do win and you play a certain way, play the right way. I learned a lot from Darryl that way. I had him for a couple of years, so I appreciate all the tough love you get along the way. So I think those are the guys that I look back on, and I think it's important. It's an imperfect science, this coaching. So guys around the league, Jimmy and Brad are here, guys I used to play with, bounce ideas off them quite a bit. And I think it's important. Most coaches, I think they'd be lying to you if they didn't tell you that there's some ups and downs where it's nice to be able to give a guy a call and say, hey, what do you do in this situation, or how'd this go for you? So we're no different. I think that's real important that you have a solid foundation of guys outside of your own organization you can bounce ideas off.
Who do you look to?
Well, you know what? I think I've been really lucky. I mean, I'm sure every player has had great coaches. I started with George Armstrong and Jr. as Butch did with Kilray, and he taught us that he treated us so well that we would go through walls for him. And I thought, okay, I always want to be a coach. If I'm ever a coach, I want to be a coach where the player will go through a wall for me. And so he taught me that. And then you moved on to Roger Nielsen, and who was also a great person that you would do anything for, but he knew every aspect of the game. So, I mean, if you thought you were an offensive player and you were going to do something, and he would pull you aside, and he told me, quite frankly, he says, you'll never play unless you learn the defensive side of the puck. So you learned an awful lot with Roger, who I still take so many things from in my day-to-day coaching now. And then Andy Murray in LA, when I first went from the East Coast League to the American League and got to go to an NHL camp for the first time in 15 years, he was so detailed as well that you couldn't help but get the information from him. I think all of these coaches, you take the best of what they had and you add your personality into it, and I think that's what makes it. I mean, me and Butch, we played on the same team in Nova Scotia under a guy by the name of Larry Kish, and I don't know if we really liked him, but there's there was stuff we took from him. He was so well organized that the way he ran his practices and that I still take stuff from that. So I think you can learn from every coach you've had, because everybody's got some good points, every guy has some bad points, and you try to take the good points and run with them.